All right, what's up, everybody? This is Candy.
I'm Sean Ryan from TrendKillRadio.
And this is a Trend Kill Quickie.
Trend?
Whatever. Anyway, B really did want to be here again, but unfortunately, plans changed, but she will be back soon. I promise. For now, we have this guy filling in. I got to deal with him every day, so sorry, guys.
I gotta deal with you every day.
Sphincter says what?
I'm not saying it.
For those of you who do not know, there is a show on YouTube called Hot Ones, hosted by Sean Evans, and it's basically celebrities come on and they eat progressively hotter and hotter hot wings while he continues to ask them a score of questions, spanning 17 seasons, just I think a little over 250 episodes total, so this has been around for a little while. Most recently, or fairly recently, they had rock and roll's favorite golden boy, Dave Grohl, on, and everybody knows who Dave Grohl is. Everybody loves him unless you're Courtney Love.
Oh, you remember my wife, Courtney Love? Who?
No one loves Courtney Love.
Courtney Love loves Courtney Love.
I don't think she does. She hates herself.
Anyway, spanning over their 17 seasons, I mean, plenty of other celebrities have been on this show, including the likes of Halle Berry, jackasses both Johnny Knoxville and Steve-O, Daniel Radcliffe from Harry Potter, which I thought was kind of cool.
Shaq.
World-renowned chefs, both Guy Fieri and Gordon Ramsay were on there.
Guy Fieri. World-renowned chef.
Yeah, okay, fine, whatever. And Terry Crews was actually on there, which I thought was kind of cool because they did accommodate for him and did cauliflower wings, which they do for a lot of other people as well. And probably the most famous person they had on there was Matt Damon.
Matt Damon. Ben Affleck married Jennifer Garner. You married a bartender with a kid.
Anyway, in this most recent episode, Dave Grohl and host Sean Evans, they got a little tipsy and got a little emotional. I guess really more so Sean Evans got a little tipsy and a little emotional.
Yeah, Dave's a pro.
He is a pro. I mean, he's a rock star, so he's a pro. But Dave Grohl had some really, really good tips for musicians, up-and-coming musicians, and what he thinks that they should possibly do, just to kind of self-promote themselves.
Hot Ones totals for this episode, a breakdown. We got 10 hot sauces, 5 burps, 8 shots of Blacktooth Grin. Kudos to Dave for bringing in the liquor and bringing back Pantera memories for everybody. Sean was not fucking ready for that. 71 uses of the word fuck or any variant thereof. And, you know what, a couple swigs of beer. Why not?
Yeah, there were a couple swigs of beer in there, too,
Yeah.
just to kind of cool the palate a little bit.
I don't know, I'm not sure, but there might not even, did they even have any milk?
No, there was zero milk. Zero milk, zero water. It was all beer and liquor.
Have some milk before you go. It's not about the mouth, it's about your asshole or whatever.
Yeah, if you guys don't know about this show, this shit is hot. The Scoville units are insane. Like, if you think a jalapeno pepper or a habanero is hot, like, these go way above that. I mean, it has reduced hardcore celebrities to tiers, where they get to like the last 2-3 sauces or something like that, and they are crying, they're sweating, their eyes are watering. Billie Eilish is running around the table and shit like that. People walk off camera. Bert Kreischer shit his pants the next day while he was in the airport.
Yeah, a lot of celebrities don't even make it all the way through these. So, I mean, Halle Berry was one of the few troopers that was just like, whatever, this is whatever.
Yeah, some people are gangster like that, though.
And Dave Grohl kind of was, too. I mean, he was pretty gangster.
Dave Grohl, like...
He admitted, I won't give the ending away, but he admitted that he had one of the hottest hot sauces in his kitchen. He's been indulging to just prepare himself for this one day. He's been doing this for a very long time.
Takes a teaspoon of it.
Anyway, so they start off the show with business as usual. Sean Evans starts asking Dave Grohl about his...
That's one extra burp for the sheet.
Good to know. Sean Evans starts asking Dave Grohl about his up-and-coming projects, which is typically what he does on this show. Dave Grohl has his movie Studio 666 coming out, and then they kind of progress into talking about him being like a newer grill master, and then this progresses into them talking about different styles of drummers somehow. I'm not sure how that kind of worked, but it does work if you watch it. And Dave Grohl goes on to say one quote, which I will give you because it's kind of funny and it's kind of cute. And it's very Dave Grohl. But he goes on to say at one point, quote, "I'm a disco drummer because I can't play fucking Rush."
Yeah, we all know that Dave Grohl bangs the hell out of those drums, no pun. That dude is insane on there, and you will find out that just a few months ago, maybe a year or something, he admitted that Nirvana's Nevermind, the source of his drumming, was from disco albums. And you will find that is one of the catchiest drum albums you have ever heard in your entire life. It's not even just about Kurt. I mean, that thing slaps and still does to this day. You can listen to that album front to back and really, really, really recognize how good a drummer that guy was just by stealing. And I gotta give him credit. That's what every rock star's done in the history of time.
Well, here's the thing, but to kind of counterpoint that, Dave actually does go on to say that, like, what makes a good drummer is if you can hear 15 seconds of them and know who it is.
Yeah, he cites John Bonham, he cites Ringo Starr, and I mean, there's a slew of drummers that you just know. I can't remember the dude from Gojira. That guy is insane. Joey Jordison was insane. Tommy Lee, very good, but I can't exactly recognize him. Stephen Perkins, though, very distinguishable from Jane's Addiction. Yeah, so I mean...
But Dave also does go on to say that he appreciates that, and what he thinks works for the Foo Fighters is that imperfection. He appreciates that imperfection, and it works for them, and it works for a lot of other artists. And so, I mean, it kind of goes both ways. He's really not critical of anybody, which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah, and even Taylor Hawkins, they're the drummer for the Foo Fighters. That would make me so nervous if I was going to be in Dave Grohl's band. I mean, Taylor's been in there forever, but I mean, if you're auditioning to be the drummer for the Foo Fighters with the guy that's lead singing that used to be the drummer for Nirvana, I'd be sweating bullets.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Like, I'd have the nervous poops.
Well, you get that anyway. You get that when you're driving an hour away.
Yeah, I get nervous when there's no bathrooms around.
So anyway, they do go on to discuss Dave Grohl's affinity for SNL and the David Letterman show, and that's how he actually came to just want to do music and just have a passion for music, is just these late night shows, watching it, just doing bong rip after bong rip, and just...
I'm hosting Saturday Night Live this week with musical guest Foo Fighters. I don't know why, but I assumed that you were Chinese.
He loves David Letterman. He also has like this huge
Crush.
love and appreciation and kind of like, a borderline man crush on David Letterman, which I think is kind of adorable.
Because he says he's kind of a jerk.
He also
sarcastic.
But he also says he's a Dave, and Daves are fucking awesome. Which actually, I've met a lot of Daves, and I can't really say I've ever met a bad Dave. I'm not really a fan of the Foo Fighters. I will admit this. I've never been a huge fan of the Foo Fighters, but I absolutely love Dave Grohl, and I've always loved Dave Grohl, and I have an appreciation for him, not just because he's from my hometown.
Yeah, when you watch this episode, this guy, like, he just lights up the fucking room. Like, he is funny, he's charming, he's interesting, he's talented, he drinks like a fucking champ, he ate these wings that I wouldn't even touch.
You sweat with buffalo.
Yeah, Frank's Red Hot will give my eyebrows sweat. Like, they will. It's bad news. So, I mean, this guy, is there anything the guy can't do?
Yeah, not really.
But he was promoting his movie Studio 666, which, is only out in theaters right now. You be the judge on whether you like it or not. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. I don't know.
But basically, like, his inspiration for that, which I actually kind of enjoy where his inspiration came for that. I'm going a little off cue here, but Dave likes to write alone. He likes to write his music alone and then kind of just like send it back to his band and say, hey guys, what do you think? Which he rents houses to do this, and he just ended up in this really creepy old fucking house, and he's just like, I want to write a movie.
It was haunted.
I want to write a movie now. And like he pitched the idea, and everybody's like, oh yeah, let's do this. And so it just became a movie, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah, because when you're that loaded and you're that well known, you can do. He wanted to just do this low rate B movie,
horror movie,
whatever, and then a studio picked it up and starts giving him a bunch of money and doing table reads, and it's like, oh shit, this snowballed. But that's what happens with Dave Grohl. They put out a disco album last year.
Yeah, he's basically,
just for the hell of it.
I hate to say it because this kind of sounds like it's negative, but I'm actually meaning this in the most positive way. Dave Grohl is basically a black hole. Like, everything just kind of like gravitates towards him, but it doesn't disappear. Like, it gravitates towards him, and then it goes on to the better place.
You have a black hole.
Go fuck yourself. Anyway, so the main topic, the reason why we actually are here to talk about this episode is Dave Grohl actually had some advice. Like, so he goes on to say, after they're talking about drummers and things like that, Sean Evans, slightly intoxicated, asks Dave Grohl what he thinks is the best way for newer bands to promote themselves. And he had a very long but very powerful quote, which I actually really appreciated, and Sean has that quote for us.
Well, I will try and tone it down a little bit better than
There's
Dave.
a lot of F words.
Well, no, I'm not even, I'll say fuck all day. I don't give a fuck about your kids. Two for the show. Dave goes on to say, quote, I still believe the most important way to promote yourself as an artist is to fucking play live. That's it. Because when human being sees another human being on stage ripping, there is this sort of connection, and it's inspiring because you're like, oh my God, human beings can do that. Quote. And then he continues, quote, I think we've been so conditioned to everything becoming kind of a mechanical in a way. You can see it and you're like, oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah, look at the lights and look at the fucking shit. But if you see someone sitting in front of you with just the wood and wires shredding a guitar, or someone with an amazing voice and no microphone, or like a Preservation Hall jazz band in New Orleans, you go sit in that tiny room and there are no microphones, there's no nothing, it's just church pews and a jazz band, and it moves your heart. That's the way to do it, I'm convinced. And he gives the example for Alabama Shakes, says that's how you're supposed to do it. That's what I think. You gotta get out there, you gotta beat the fucking street and play live and be badass. If you're fucking badass, that shit will happen, but you gotta work it. End quote.
And the fun thing about Alabama Shakes is like they progressed so far in such a short period of time. They progressed to actually beating the Foo Fighters at the Grammys. And no, instead of being like a sore loser, he's, hey, kudos to you guys because you worked the beat.
Yeah, because he was playing on a stage, and then they were mid-level second stage, and then next year headlining second stage, then mid-level main stage, and then going on to be the headliners of the show, and then competing against each other in their category for a Grammy, and then beating the Foo Fighters, which is fucking hard to do.
How many bands can you say actually have done that in the last 10 years? Like, beat a band that has been around as long as the Foo Fighters, who are, once again, I'm just going to throw this out here, Dave Grohl is a two-time inductee to the Hall of Fame. Once for Nirvana and once for the Foo Fighters. So, I mean, you're beating out an artist who has been around for 30 years, 25, 30 years.
And they have 16 Grammys, I think.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's saying something. And for him to, be so graceful about it, I think that's amazing.
So, I know it's a little weird, yeah, but we're trying to promote Dave Grohl's Hot Ones episode.
I know, it's a little weird.
Watch our show.
It's a little weird, but you know what? It was such a great episode. By the end of this episode, what I love the most is Sean Evans is clearly intoxicated, but still trying to just pull it together.
Shit, I hit that shit. I've got a confession to make. I got a confession to make. I wasn't gonna fucking say it like that.
They had 8 shots in like a half hour.
Yeah, this episode was about a half hour long, a little over a half an hour. So.
Well, I mean, with editing, maybe it was probably an hour or something like that with editing. But dude, you do 8 shots and have a couple swigs of beer
in an hour, even give it an hour, and that's still a lot. And this guy probably does not drink the way Dave Grohl drinks. I mean, Dave Grohl doesn't just drink coffee. If anybody that's ever seen the Fresh Pots thing.
I mean, here's a man that probably has 5 fresh pots a day. Fresh pot!
Dave Grohl doesn't just drink coffee. He drinks a lot of alcohol as well. And then by the end of it, he was even fangirling about being on the show. He said, I've got a bucket list, and this was one of them.
And there we have it.
So rock and roll's fucking golden boy. Everybody loves Dave Grohl, and this episode, please go watch it because it will give you even more reason to love him as a person.
Yeah, Dave was great.
That's about all we have for this episode. If you want to go watch the Hot Ones episode, definitely recommend it. Let us know what you guys think in the comments. If you really want to, I mean, I guess you can let them know in their comments and just plug us. That'd be great. But then, yes, please come back and like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when these episodes come out. Once again, I'm Candy.
And I'm Sean Ryan from TrendKillRadio, the juggernaut that it is with 705 subscribers.
For what it's worth, that was a Trend Kill Quickie. Bye, guys.
See ya.